Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great day today. My day started out kind of crazy and had to grind it back, but we kind of brought it back around. Don't like starting mornings out that way, but it seems like lately that's my MO. But it's just part of what we have to deal with here. Now, I sent this out this morning on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, through social media, because this is what I had posted on my desk at school. It says I teach for the outcome, not the income, because it's obvious that teachers are underpaid. Some people don't think so because we only work 9 months out of the year, but got a full-time salary. But you had to understand, there was a lot more that we put into it. So teaching for the outcome was where our focus needed to be. Because when you start focusing on the income, then you cheapen yourself. And you find yourself not giving 120% because you're not getting paid 120%. And for me, it's about the outcome. And what I want to make through my teaching is I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference in everybody's life in any way that I can. And because I'm teaching what I've learned and the knowledge that I've gained through getting to where I am in trading, I want to impact people in that way. And that's why I do the things that I do, and that's why I changed. And I put my money where my mouth is and said, hey, if you're a member of the community, you take the classes. It's there. I did it to help people learn how to trade. And yeah, what I do, you can use this as a start. You can use this as a foundation to where you can make money and you can grow your account. And there's no question, because you see it done every day. If you're in chat, you see it done every day. And that's what's important. So as long as I can continue to make a difference, then I'm going to keep doing it. So let's get to, and tomorrow, I had a couple of emails with another funny statement in it. So just check out tomorrow morning. I'm going to be addressing that tomorrow. So that tomorrow ought to be pretty interesting as well. All right, so my day started out, HDS was my number one look. And reason being, anytime I see a gap like this, I just salivate, because this is home run potential. When you see these gaps, and we were working, in this gap, this huge gap between these blue lines here. So I had a plan. My plan was we could go long or we could go short. Either way we could go, and my magnet was going to be to close the gap. So we held above VWAP here going into the open, and my bias was long. I mean, it was long, obviously. We had this big sell-off candle prior to the open, got bought back up. The next candle going into the open, we just sold off and we kept selling. We sold below the VWAP. So when this candle opened and we sold off a little bit, and then we started pushing up, my bias immediately went to long. So I waited until this candle closed, and I wanted to go in as we broke through the high, making this run up. So I ended up getting in. We made the run up, but I was looking for 40, 50. We barely touched 25. And then this candle opened, and then we just sold off. And this is where I was supposed to be getting out. But I accidentally, I'm just so short-minded. I accidentally bought like I was covering and doubled my position. And this pretty much took me out of anything else I could do until this kind of, worked itself out. So I got in, got a better average. So that should have taken about $50 off what I was down. So instead of me being at my $150 max loss, I should have been somewhere under 100. And this started to work. This candle opened, we pushed up over VWAP. I'm looking at this, I'm like, we could be flagging here. So I held on to it. We had this crazy price action here, and I'm thinking, maybe we're just taking out stops before we make this big push up. And this candle opened a lower high, but a higher low. And then this candle opened, and we made a lower low relative to this candle, and we made a lower high relative to this candle. This did have me signaling that I needed to get out soon. So when this candle opened and we immediately start to sell off, I ended up having to stop out here. So I went from giving it $150 max loss to a $300 max loss because I had doubled my position size. My buying power was maxed out. I was handcuffed. But as long as technically this trade was still in play, we were above the VWAP, we hadn't closed below it, I'm still giving it a chance. But this candle came, and I couldn't wait for it to close because I had hit my max loss. So I had to get out of it. Now this candle opened, pushed up, and immediately started selling off. We got under this 20 here. I got short and wanted to take some at 50 or 38.60, somewhere in there. I couldn't get it. Then we popped back up here. This candle opened, tried to push up. Crazy price action. And this was a frustrating trade. And we started coming down. I went ahead and took some off here. And then I stopped out here. Got way too much slippage. I got in here at 9.35 and ended up buying some more at 39.60. You see, and this is where I had to get out. So here I shorted at 27. I had my hard stop at 39.20, and I got 12-cent slippage. And it's funny because this happens sporadically. For several days, I didn't have any bad fills. No slippage on market orders at all. And today, I had 2 big slips. So this was the worst one. Took some of this profit back. And you can see I was still red on HDS. The one good thing is I didn't come in and try to revenge trade. I'm just going to accept and work with what it gave me and then just leave it alone. So no revenge trade on it. So I was done with it. After this, I was just pretty much done with it. EIX was a stock that sold off big time at the open. This was a name that was pretty popular in the room today. This would have been the ideal entry candle here, but I didn't see this until after we were halfway through this candle, so I waited to the next one. Ended up covering some here, covering some more here, well, cover some here, cover some more here, and this, let's see, I got it, I can't remember. Alright, this is backwards. So I shorted 3 here. I got in 100 here, and then ended up taking the rest off as we were pulling back. That's what that was. Here I shorted 300. Then when we popped up, I shorted 200, so I got in 500 shares. And I held through this. And this, if we were going to lose this level, I would have taken it off. If we closed above it. This was a flash all the way up to the VWAP and then back. This is just, market makers playing his games. It took out some stop losses up here, I assume. It pulled back. I'm using a solid technical level here. If we claim this technical level, then my trade plan is dead. As long as we're still in play, I'm going to keep on it. So I got back in, added back, okay. Then the first cover was at 71.35, which was here, and then I accidentally covered the rest. This should have been 71. I was putting in my order again, and it ended up stopping me. I typed in the wrong order, so I got short again here at right here at 71.25. And I had to hold for a long time, but it was still respecting the 20. We never closed above it, and so I ended up getting some awesome trades here. Now here's where this thing really pissed me off. I had my stop. I have to leave around 3 o'clock every day to go get my son. I had made these 3 covers. I only left 50 shares on because I was looking for it to come down through this level here, down closer to 69. So I actually had a bid out at 69 in case this thing sold off while I was gone. I get back and I look at this, and I ended up, my stop was right here at my entry. And see, my entry was 71.25. Yep, 71.25. So I covered, took all of these hits, and so now my stop loss is back at 71.20. I get back and I see I got stopped out up here at 71.53. So I ended up on these last 50 shares with a 33-cent slippage. And this is, it's really infuriating because it happens every now and then. It doesn't happen all the time. And, it's really frustrating. So this was an absolute revenge trade. I'm not going to bite, even try to make you think that it was something other than a revenge trade, because we were like going in to close, and this candle closed below all of this, and I was like, I want to see if this thing is going to fade down to 69. You know, I want my 30 cents back. So I got in and with 300 shares, ended up taking some off here, taking some off here right at 69.20, and I ended up taking it all off there. So I took 200 off here. I didn't mean to take 200 off here, but I did. I didn't change it. I wanted to do 150 and 150, but this was my final target, so we just dumped it all there and ended up, you know, making some money back and then some. So my day, 256.80. You know, if you could have added the losses to this, we would have had a real good day. But you know, this, if I saw it, I would trade it again. You know, I went through this, and if I had it to do over again, I would still stay in, because this was looking like a bull flag, and I was looking for it to pop. It just didn't happen. Did not happen. So I'm not mad at myself about this. You know, I accidentally added here, but I managed it correctly. I didn't panic. I worked it and ended up getting that handle. So, you know, I can't complain. It's just one of those 30% of the trades that's gonna not work out. And so I just left it at that. The other reason I was frustrated this morning was this was the stock that I wanted. I wanted this move. I was in this yesterday and kind of held it till, you know, almost 6 o'clock, because I was looking for this big move down. And let me see if I can get a daily chart so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Show you what I was looking at on this. You see, we had this bounce and we got right back up to this gap here and we sold off. Now let me do the studies here. Now my goal was going to be this 94.05. It still may give me a chance tomorrow to get in, but I want to see it pull back toward this and then start taking off. You see the 9 moving averages, the 20 is curling up. It crossed the 50. It's about to cross the 90. You know, this is a sign of strength. But I still think, and I'm still looking for a pullback so that we can get a good significant bounce. So I'll be keeping my eye on that as well. Nothing really new to report in the swing trading. We had a couple set up or try to set up, but it just didn't happen. You see, you know, BITA, this was a solid move, but it didn't trigger an entry, you know, according to our strategy. Now, could you have jumped on this, you know, once we got over yesterday's close? Sure. And you would have done good today. The target on this is going to be the 200. And, you know, which is about 3 points away. And you could actually take half and see if we run up and touch the 9. But this didn't trigger an entry for me. And because I'm watching day trading the first part of the day, you know, any potential entry I missed. GWRE is another one. it's starting to set up. We'll keep our eye on this tomorrow. It may trigger an entry. And, we've got some nice room up to here, on back up to close to 75. THS, this is one I've been in for a long time. Took some at 45 over here. If we pull back and hold the 20, I will add back, get in full size, and just hold on to it, and let it work its magic. BERY was what I added from last night, but it did not do anything. It kind of fizzled. AEP turned around and could not break the 52-week high, so we turned around again. You could look for a potential move down to the 50-day tomorrow. Now, that is a potential, move this thing could make for the next 2 days. So nothing really solid on the swings. I'm just kind of holding on to what I do have. Is this it? Yeah. So this is the other list. The ones that we're looking at. You see, we had a pullback here. We're pulling back here. We're pulling back here. But this SCG, this is the local parent company to our electricity and gas. And they were working on a nuclear plant. Things didn't go well. They took some grant money that they never did anything with. So I'm waiting on this to tank. Let's see, I'll show you how far back I got in. Let's see, SCG. You can see this is where we got in, all the way back here. So I've been holding it. Finally got to be able to take some at 45, which was somewhere, must have been on this day here. I waited for 45 and I took it. And, we went in, we put in a new low. But, I'm looking for it to continue down. I'm looking for it to continue over here to hold below the 20 so we can get this low taken out, and I can make a couple bucks on it. So that's what I'm looking for on that. So that's it for today. Not much happening, but it was a little active, but the moves just weren't what I needed them to be, and it's probably because I got the holidays on my mind, and I got to get that off. But that's my day in a nutshell. We ended up 256.80, which, add that to yesterday, and we got a pretty solid week going. So you guys have a good day, good evening, good night, and we will see you first thing in the morning.